Hi, yeah. So I have had quite a few questions recently when I've been at events asking about what do I do with my crystals when I've bought them. So I've kind of covered how to pick your crystals and a quick and easy basic way of cleansing your crystals. Obviously, I'll probably do some more in-depth cleansing videos later on, I think, for those people that still want something a little bit more visual, and that's fine, I'll do that later. So I mentioned a little bit when you're choosing your crystals and sort of programming them and cleansing them a little bit about how to use them. How you would use them depends entirely on what your needs are. So for example, if it's something like sleep, you'd probably want to put the crystal underneath your pillow or by your bed or underneath your bed. Amethyst is perfect for that. For people that are working on relationships, you can use feng shui, so you can set up a relationship corner in your house and put your crystals there. Normally, if you're working on a relationship, then you would normally use a couple of crystals. Obviously, if you're not in a relationship or wanting to attract a relationship, you should always be clear about what it is you're wanting to attract. However, I wouldn't necessarily say a specific person, because you can interfere with their will unless you add that into there. Normally, I would just say, when you're putting your crystals in your relationship corner, and there are resources on my website, so you can actually, look up the feng shui areas if that helps. But yeah, if you put the crystals in the corner, then I would just sit and hold them and list the attributes of the person that you're wishing to attract to yourself. If it's family relationships, then you can always put the crystals in your family centre of your house. You can carry them around with you as well. Allow your intuition to just guide you as to what's the best and what will work with you best. Some people prefer to wear them. However, for example, if you're doing treatments and you're wanting to use crystals in your treatments, then perhaps palm stones, where you're using them for massage or placing them on the body, that would be more appropriate. And for a really nice idea for people that perhaps work somewhere where you're not allowed to wear jewellery, you can get those sort of money belts where it's just a normal leather belt with a pocket on the inside, and you can just pop a couple of flat crystals in there, zip it up, and then nobody would know that you're wearing crystals. Also for people that don't necessarily want to have to explain why they're carrying stones around with them to their work colleagues, it might be easier. For things like geopathic stress, if you've had somebody that's dowsed, or if you've dowsed your place already and you've located where your stress lines are, place the crystals roughly in the area of where the stress line is entering your house. For electromagnetic energy, if you're, especially if it's in your bedroom, then I would place the sunlight by the appliances or the plug socket. And again, if you've got TVs or computers, then you place it by them as well. So yeah, and if you've got specific healing needs, so you might want to, if it's something that's acute, you might want to carry it around with you. I know people that have taken crystals in with them for hospital when they've gone for operations or during childbirth. Just allow your intuition to guide you. Obviously, there are some caveats with that. So, for example, if you have a toxic crystal, or some raw crystals aren't appropriate to be carried around, some crystals won't be able to be made into jewellery. One, maybe because it's difficult to cut because it's too soft, or two, because it's toxic on your skin. So if you have crystals that you're not sure about, then feel free to take a photo and send it to me, and I'll try and identify them. Otherwise, take them to a local shop, or when you're buying a crystal, ask the person that you're buying them from just for a little bit more information, and just to make sure that that it's not toxic. So yeah, and then there are other modalities that you can use. So for example, like chakra sets, you can use them for chakra healing. If you're just wanting some crystals to use for rebalancing, you might want to just as a ritual, for example, when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, just run some kyanite just along your auric field. So you just kind of wipe it around your auric field. And then, you know, you place the crystal in your room or somewhere where you feel that it's safe. I quite like to carry a crystal for the day around with me, so I have a bowl of little tumble stones, and I'll pick one out for the day, and then just carry it around with me on my person or in my pocket. There are so many different ways of working with crystals, so it's really difficult to kind of condense it down into one short video. I'm trying to think of some other nuggets of information that I can kind of give you without rambling on into some long-winded but yeah, obviously then you can use them in grids as well. I can do a more in-depth video on grids perhaps, because that's like a whole different area. But then, you know, if you're using crystals for spiritual development, so for example, if you're going to a spiritual development circle, you might want to carry some crystals that will enhance the messages coming through or will help open yourself up. However, you know, you might feel that you might not want to have that energy around with you when you're working, or you might not want to be so open during the day, so perhaps you just reserve those crystals for those occasions. And then, you know, there are loads of crystals that are great for meditation, like labradorite or labradorite, depending on how you pronounce it, lapis, really amazing crystals that you can either sit and hold the crystal in a meditation, you could place the crystals in the room when you're doing your own sort of meditation, you can gaze into the crystal and you know, almost travel into the crystal within meditation. So meditation is such a big area in itself, so if you already have a process of meditating, then just, you know, put the crystal in the room or sit it in between your legs, or, you know, put it on your lap or hold it in your pocket, and it will just enhance what you're doing anyway. But, you know, if you wanted to start meditation and just but start with crystals, then you can just sit and hold it, gaze into it, just, you know, allow your thoughts to just pass through like clouds, and just keep refocusing. And, you know, if you find a rainbow in the crystal or a particular facet, just gaze into it and just allow yourself to just gently just sit there for a few minutes. You don't have to do a long meditation if you're just getting started. You know, a few minutes will still have a huge impact. So yeah, then there, you know, the different shapes of crystals. You know, if you're wanting to, if you've got sore muscles and you've got crystal that will help you, you know, recover after muscle injury, you could get a palm stone in that crystal and use it to massage the area. Most crystals should be okay with natural oils, so, you know, no petrochemicals, but, you know, natural vegetable oils that you can buy for massage. So for example, a good grapeseed oil or sunflower oil, or if you want something you know, a little bit nicer and probably a little bit more expensive, jojoba is really nice as well. As long as you just give it a clean afterwards in just some gentle soapy water and then dry it. But again, obviously, this isn't appropriate for salt crystals and not for toxic crystals, but, you know, things like quartzes and aventurines, agates, they're lovely for massage. And again, you know, the person that you're buying for crystals will be able to help you with that. And then you can have points as well, so if you're wanting to draw energy out or put energy in, points are great. Double terminated points will pull energy out and replace it at the same time. There's so many different ways of working with crystals, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is to just trust your intuition, try not to overthink things. And, you know, you might feel drawn to a crystal and you feel that it's going to help you for one specific area, and it might not even agree with you in the book, but if that's what your intuition is telling you that it's going to help you with, then, you know, trust that, because ultimately we're all individuals and we have our own life paths that have brought us to this point. You know, different health concerns, different upbringings, different emotional fields. You know, we're all very individual, and there's no one size fits everyone with crystal healing, just as it is with anything else in life. You know, you could give the same crystal to 3 people and they'll probably all have 3 different experiences with the crystal, but it will work with them where it needs to work with them. So, you know, just trust your intuition, books are really great guidance. Loads of people that you can contact as well if you're unsure about crystals, or if you just want some other ideas as to how you can work with them. But let your intuition be a guide, because your intuition will always steer you in the direction that is most appropriate for yourself. I hope this helps, and I hope it's a little bit more clear. If there's anything else that you want to go into more in depth, then feel free to leave a comment below. And again, if there's any crystals that you're unsure about, just send me a private message, or pop into the Mad Dog Designs page. Leave us a message there, take some photos, and send them to us, and we'll do our very best to get back to you and let you know what they are. Alright, take care everyone. Thanks. Bye.